everyone! We are finally going to be playing the last case on Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. It's called A Half Moon Walk. I'm really excited to finish this game. I mean, it's a good game, but I've been playing it for a while now. So, kind of want to just get started on Tales on the Symphonia a little bit more, so that I can, just finish it.
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have? Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, 'cause I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
And forget about the dinner? Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Oh, okay, getting right to it. Alright. Wait, no, but I want to speak to Toby. There. Toby!
Hello, Toby. All you need now is a shawl and a mock cap, and you could be Mrs. Hudson's younger sister. Hello,
I can
Toby.
pet him?
All you need now is a shawl.
Oh, no. How about the lady? Hello, miss. Alright, let's see if there is a letter or an article from the last case. Yep. Dear Mr. Holmes, I am writing to you in admiration of your deductive talents. You quite brilliantly uncovered the truth behind the terrible murder that took place here at Kew Gardens. I cannot believe that it was Mr. Hamish. It is so terrible to realize we are working with the murderer. Nevertheless, despite how sinister this place has become, we are managing it together with Albert, and I am now able to continue my studies. Thank you so much for your remarkable work. Yours sincerely, Margaret White. That's it, right? Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, I remember Albert has to live with his crime. So I made him remember and not get into jail. Okay. Where's Wiggins? I don't think it's this way. It's way too dark. So it was this way.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving.
Tell me about the victims.
Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
Any witnesses?
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Go on.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course.
How can you forget that?
Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Okay. Let's examine the body.
A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look.
What can we get from this?
This shard of wood is quite new. The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance. This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
I love how Sherlock's always just taking victim stuff.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound.
Oh, that must hurt.
A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there. Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die.
Alright, let's speak to the flower lady. Oh, Wiggins. Do you have anything to say?
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he alright?
Not yet. Inspecting the crime scene first. Okay, ma'am.
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
She seems honest. Alright, let's go up to this apartment. Oh, he's right there.
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story? Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the 2 shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
How come I can profile him but not the flower girl? Where's the last one?
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Mr. Turner heard 2 different consecutive shots. The second shot was louder than the first. Mr. Turner stated that he remained near his window until Leighton was caught by the police, who came from the direction of Whitechapel High Street. Well, the constable said there was nobody at the window, so how come he said he was by the window? That's not it. Maybe it's this one. 2 victims, Brian Bricati and Kenneth Butler, were both found shot in the dark in narrow Half Moon Street, which is located between Great Alley and Whitechapel High Street. Oh, okay. I guess not. Dark window. Constable Marrow paid attention to Mr. Turner's window while he was running past the dead bodies. He did not observe anyone next to the window. It was dark there. Oh, it's probably this one. Mr. Turner stated that he remained at the window of his flat until the police arrived. However, this is in conflict with Marrow's statement, as the constable did not see anyone at the window. Exactly. Anything else connect? Well, it wasn't these. Two victims, and Leighton Chapman is the only person who was seen entering Half Moon Street after Brian Bricati and Kenneth Butler. He was seen standing over the dead bodies and escaping the crime scene shortly afterwards. Nope. Okay. Alright. Can we talk to you again about that?
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly. So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window.
It's a pretty clear view.
The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
The space is so huge, though, compared to the spaces in NYC.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp. There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
Look at his bedroom.
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots. The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
Oh, snap.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims.
Is he burning something?
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago. The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
Actually, so he got up, approached the body, took something, placed the broken stick, and then took something. Took something. What? Okay, let's see if this is good.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find? I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look. Well now, what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book. A bracelet with a unique ram's head design, a distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Mr. Turner, What do you have to say about that? Are you lying?
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Time can pull tricks on you.
Tell me everything.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then, and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window, as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
I think he just wanted some money. Alright, what do I do next? I'm guessing I go to Scotland Yard, right? Search archives. Okay. Interrogate Leighton and examine his belongings at Scotland Yard. Let's go to Scotland Yard. There might be some more stuff that I can research there at back at Baker Street.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Does Lestrade really even do a good job as an inspector? See here? Oh, whoops, nope. That is the autopsy room.
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots. A cheap watch Bought with his own money, no doubt. These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
Okay, let's see what we can connect. Layton's revolver. Layton was holding a revolver with 2 fired cartridges when he was caught after the crime in Half Moon Street. 2 victims. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti were the victims of a double murder carried out by one person. Anything else? Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots as in fact 3 shots were made. At first a single shot was fired and then 2 guns fired simultaneously directly afterwards. Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots as they were made from different points in Half Moon Street. I don't know. I don't know about that. The witness testimonies and the crime weapon clearly point to one culprit, Layton Chapman. Layton Chapman had nothing of any value in his possession when he was caught by the police directly after the crime. Okay, I think that's it.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Layton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work, and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw 2 men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. and then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Not gonna say anything about his black eye?
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Brian Vercotti is an old acquaintance of Leighton Chapman. They were both in prison for robbery while still young men, but their paths diverged after their release. Leighton Chapman stated that he saw a person leaning over a dead body just as he entered the scene. Leighton took a gun from the body and set off in pursuit of the man, but he was blinded by a flash of bright light. I'm going to connect these two. The person whom Leighton Chapman describes in his statements is a figment of his own imagination, created to vindicate himself. In fact, 3 shots. Maybe they shot at each other. Well, it says to reenact it, so we'll see if it's possible. I'm gonna try everything. The violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Leighton Chapman could have had a personal motive. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, they don't match. Alright. Let's go back to Half Moon Street and reenact it.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Okay, one of the victims possibly fired his gun twice. Find out who did. Select the gunman. Let's do you first. Okay, so up there. And up there.
It would be my pleasure to...
Okay, so I'm missing something. The street is so narrow I cannot move at all. Okay. I have to imagine it from here. Oh, what is this?
A fairly long pole with a forked end. I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
Okay, well, that's what this is for then.
This should be useful.
That's convenient. Alright. Okay, let's imagine it again. And let's see.
This is most definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
Oh, interesting. Leighton Chapman's statement regarding the jacketed man who disappeared at Half Moon Street now seems reasonable, as the 3 shots at the crime scene prove the presence of a second gun that is now missing. Okay. Yeah, 3 shots. I don't think that's true. No. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti both died of crossfire with each of them holding a gun. One of the guns is now missing. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti were the victim of a double murder carried out by one person. Were they trying to shoot each other? Okay. Well, Let's keep searching. Let's keep searching. Let's go to talk to Constable Marrow and find out if it would have been possible to miss someone hiding in the shadows. Okay.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Playing hide and seek now.
No, this is not how I walked at the time of the crime. I was more attentive. Let's start over again.
Oh. Alright. Should look around maybe. Look around. Maybe look at the end of this block. Oh. Look at how he's hiding. I can't.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Okay, let's look at all the corners. Oh my god. Oh.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Sherlock. I see you.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
That was really funny. Okay. No one could hide in the shadows of Half Moon, as a single run through this narrow street with the lamp could reveal every corner. If we can assume that there was one more person in Half Moon Street at the time of the crime, then there is no way forward or back for his escape, only up. Let's reenact the action, recreate the fireworks described by Layton, and attempt to climb the wall. I'm gonna climb? Who's gonna climb? Is Watson gonna climb? I feel like he's gonna make Watson climb. Okay, so I have to find that equipment. Alright, let's find it. Right? That's what I have to do, right? Find the flare gun to emulate the fireworks and tools for climbing the wall. Yep. So, I don't think I can do anything before I look in my archives about the bracelet.
That is not...
These beautiful antique jewels represent a part of the Hellenistic treasures collection. Depicted are the 5 heads of mountain rams upon bracelet, necklace, and ring, each made of pure gold. The 5 rams of Mytilene have been missing from the museum since 1885.
Here it
Missing.
is. I need to continue my research in my archives.
Okay, 1885. The Hellenistic treasures were stolen yesterday evening while being transported by cab on their way from the British Museum to the Glassford Fine Art Exhibition. Pawn shop owner Kenneth Butler contacted Scotland Yard that night and provided information regarding a gentleman who had attempted to sell him a collection of historical art at his pawn shop in Church Street. The police have since captured the described man, a professional thief by the name of Vincent Foley, who had been in the process of escaping London via the port. He was recognized by the surviving driver of the cab that had transported the collection of Hellenistic treasures. Vincent Foley refused to confess as to where the remainder of the treasures were hidden. He was eventually imprisoned. The lost treasures were still to be found.
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Let's see what we can find. Watson, you're not coming with me? Alright. This store? Nope. This store? Nope. This one? Nope. This one? It has to be this one.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
See what I can find.
This is exactly what we need in order to imitate the flash of the fireworks.
Awesome. It's kind of weird that they don't tell me I had to have been here first in order to find the flare.
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Ooh. Hey, that's the same necklace.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 Rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
Hello, Kenneth. I remember you once told me about 3 pieces of golden jewelry with ram heads from ancient Greece. You still got them, right? Well, good news for you. I found a man loaded with money who's crazy about those jewels. He's ready to fork out a small fortune. I can arrange a meeting with this money back for you, but I want you to cut me in on a deal. I'll be waiting for you at the crossing of Great Alley and Half Moon Street on Sunday evening before the fireworks. Brian Vercotti. So that's why they were together. Alright. The collection of Hellenistic treasures was stolen from the British Museum in 1885. It has not been found since then and is considered to be lost. Kenneth Butler took a bracelet and possibly a ring from the ancient jewel set, the 5 Rams of Mittelin. He was arranging a deal with Brian Vercotti that was discussed at Half Moon Street. Wait, not that one? Oh, okay. If we can assume that there was one more person in Half Moon Street at the time of the crime, then there was no way forward or back for his escape, only up. Let us reenact the action, recreate the fireworks described by Lane and attempt to climb the wall. Is there anything else in here?
These tools are exactly what I need to climb the wall.
Perfect. Okay, I think I got everything I need. Let's go back.
Why are you looking at me all the time like that?
I'm just watching you, lad. I never know what to expect from people like you.
People like me?
Yes, street beggars and thieves.
I ain't a thief.
Oh no? Then where did you get whatever it is that you're gnawing on? I very much doubt that you bought it.
What ain't seen can't hardly be stolen.
Constable Marrow, Watson, I would like to perform another kind of reenactment with your help.
I'm listening, Mr. Holmes.
I want to check if Leighton's testimony can be trusted. If someone could vanish into thin air at a specific moment.
But Holmes, I don't see how.
I am going to be the mysterious gentleman whom Leighton followed. I will stand exactly where he saw him before he was blinded by the flash. Watson, you will be Leighton. When I fire the signal flare, you should start to chase me.
I understand, Holmes.
You, Constable Marrow, just play your part and do exactly as you did. Just, please, wait 5 seconds after the signal flare. I doubt that Polly Powell would have screamed any earlier.
As you say, Mr. Holmes.
Let us begin then. Catch me if you can.
Oh, I climb this time. What's the other option? Let's try climbing this one.
The moon illuminates this wall. Anyone trying to climb it would be easily spotted by Constable Marrow. This wall is cast in shadow. It would be difficult to see anyone scaling it.
Let's do it then. Faster, faster, faster.
I can barely see anything. Holmes? Are you there? Where is he? My God, a man can't just disappear like that. Holmes? Holmes? Where are you?
I cannot see you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, it seems that Mr. Holmes has disappeared.
Don't worry, gentlemen. I am up here, above your heads.
How on earth did you get up there, Holmes?
I am using crampons and a climbing axe, although the person we are looking for did not leave any traces of such tools. Constable, is there any way to get to the top of this building?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I can show you. The door to the building can be found from Whitechapel Street.
Gentlemen, I am on my way down.
Why don't you just go the rest of the way up and then come back down? Oh, right here. Oh, it is so dark in here. Oh, yep, definitely climbed in.
These shards of glass are from the window above. A cluster of thick black threads. They're unusually strong. I should examine them under the microscope. Someone broke through the window to get inside the attic, but in his haste he ripped his jacket. We can conclude that the person whom Leighton saw climbed up the wall, broke into the attic window, and escaped through the hatch.
Wall climber. Let's see. The search for the missing Hellenistic treasures could be the motive of the crime that was committed in Half Moon Street. Mr. Turner picked up the bracelet directly after the murder, but the ring is still missing. I feel like it's that. Leighton Chapman's statement regarding the mysterious jacketed man who participated in the shooting at Half Moon Street was proven to be true. One possible culprit, Leighton Chapman. No, I think it's him. I need more clues. Okay. Oh wait, I don't think I'm done. Alright, analysis table.
Let us take a closer look. It is not a thread, but a hair. I very much doubt that it is human. I need to compare this sample with a human hair and a horse hair. A shaving brush is usually made from horsehair. Watson, could you please pass me your shaving brush?
Here you are.
Watson, look, what's outside the window?
Well, I don't see anything. Ouch! Holmes!
Oh, don't make such a fuss. One little hair.
Why couldn't he take his own hair?
Human hair is significantly thinner than the black sample. The horse hair is thinner than the hair that we found. So, this black hair belongs to an animal, and it is larger than a horse. A hair from a large and exotic animal.
A thick black hair found in a torn jacket. This jacket belonged to a man who nimbly escaped from the crime scene. The man who vanished from the crime scene at Half Moon Street could be a circus acrobat. He managed to scale the 30-foot-high wall in a matter of seconds. A hair from a large exotic animal was found on his discarded jacket. The person, who was seen only by Leighton Chapman, escaped the crime scene by climbing the wall. He was a skillful acrobat. The criminal took a gun from one of the dead bodies. Ooh. Ask for Wiggins' help. Okay, so he's by Half Moon Street. Let's go talk to him.
Wiggins, my lad, what are you doing here? You'd best be leaving and be quick about it.
I've done nothing wrong. You'd learn more by watching Mr. Holmes. He knows exactly what he's doing. Not like you.
Oi, watch your tongue.
He must really hate the people, the kids who live in the street. This police guy. He probably really wants it to be Leighton Chapman.
We have good news for you, Wiggins. The investigation has proven very interesting so far. We found facts and details that confirm your brother's innocence.
I knew it, Mr. Holmes.
But for now, Wiggins, we need your help.
Anything you like, Gov.
I need you to locate a circus that has stopped over in London. It needs to have disposed of at least one exotic animal. A very large one.
You can count on me, Mr. Holmes.